Forward-thinking leaders from the Philippines' fintech industry will gather next month for a summit on charting the course of the local digital economy. The Indx 3 summit will be spearheaded by Fintech Alliance PH. Its chairman, Lito Villanueva, now joins us to tell us more about this. Mr. Villanueva, good to have you with us.
Thank you so much, Denise, for having me. Good afternoon to all your viewers.
I mean, it's the third year, but we mentioned also that last 2021, the value of our digital economy reached 1.87 trillion pesos. So much has happened since then. How does it look like now?
Well, again, this summit that we will be having next month, that will be August 7 and 8, will be a gathering of the best and the brightest, not only in the Philippines, but also in the ASEAN region. And to your point, yes, we are very positive about the growth momentum of both the fintech and digital industries in the Philippines. And that's why this particular summit that we will be having will be very critical, especially on hot topics such as ChatGPT and, of course, the regulators' plan pertaining to the CBDC or the central bank digital currency, among others.
Before we talk about, I guess, the upcoming summit, because I'm sure we would want to know the topics that are going to be involved and how critical it is, especially when you mentioned regulation. Let's take a look back, I guess, also on the previous ones. And it delved, I guess, also in the partnership of the private sector with the government. And you did also mention during that time that it's so important for the government to take on an active role so that, of course, the private sector can also be more active with its regulations. How are the programs looking, under the Marcos administration?
Yes, we are very lucky to have a very supportive administration. Of course, we know for a fact that President Bongbong Marcos made that pronouncement as to his massive digital transformation agenda, especially in the bureaucracy. Of course, we have seen the active push of the DICT, especially with Secretary Ivan Uy and USEC Dave Almirol in promoting the eGov Super App, which will definitely, improve the bureaucracy in terms of digital adoption. And I think one of the things that we've seen thus far is that aside from, coming from the COVID global health pandemic, we've seen the exponential growth of digital adoption amongst Filipinos. And I think, we will be, the industry as a whole will be supporting that agenda of the president. And of course, we are very fortunate to also have the BSP, who has been, an allied, an active supporter of the industry in terms of further promoting digital innovations, especially for promoting inclusive digital finance to cover as many unbanked and underserved Filipinos in the country. And in fact, Denise, if I may add, we are very happy that even the BSP made that pronouncement already that we will be able to achieve the twin goals under the digital payments transformation roadmap, where it aspires to have or to convert at least 50% of digital retail payment transactions into digital, and to onboard at least 70% of adult Filipinos to the formal financial system by end of 2023. And the good news is that we will be able to achieve that twin goals even before the end of this year. So I think that is the good news that we will be telling the public. And again, this is very much aligned with the Marcos administration digital thrust.
We just interviewed, I guess, 2 weeks ago. They held a study, and it shows that Filipinos are very much knowledgeable when it comes to crypto, Web3, and also that there is now a shift in paradigm from being just a mere user to now participating as well in that space. How can you relate also this new shift to fintech alliances and also this Indx Summit's focus on what's next in digital?
Yes, well, that is really part of the agenda in the Indx Summit. Indx being the acronym for Inclusion and Digital Transformation Summit. And we're running this on our third year now in partnership with the regulators, the government agencies, and including the Singapore Fintech Association, the Korea Fintech Industry Association, and Hong Kong Invest. plus other partners in this particular initiative. So especially on Web 3.0, on blockchain, on crypto, this will also be another discussion in the summit. And in fact, while we have talked about the crypto winter because of some of the issues that beset that particular industry, we are still, pushing and promoting awareness amongst consumers as regards, some guardrails, or safeguards in terms of having to ensure that we are really educating our consumers, especially on, scammers and cyber crimes, etc. In fact, Denise, the Fintech Alliance recently launched its massive nationwide multi-stakeholder education campaign on cybersecurity, and this involved the BSP, the SEC, IC, the DICT, and the other, and even the PNP and NBI, together with civil society and media, on how to really educate the public, especially on the issues on phishing. So at the end of the day, the industry is united in terms of promoting what we call digital trust, because at the end of the day, the fintech and digital industries would have that major commodity, which is trust. And we don't want, and we really want to further galvanize that that aspiration of us being able to provide that trust amongst our consumers, especially on consumer protection.
Definitely. I mean, it's very much relevant, especially with what happened the past couple of months. But now, lastly, I guess now we've talked about the pioneering initiatives. You've talked about eGov, and also it's quite a bright future for the Philippines when it comes to its digital economy. But any initiatives that we can look forward to that will be released or will be announced during the summit? Would you be able to share that with us?
Yes, definitely. I will be giving you some, some exciting items that we will be discussing in the agenda for Indx Summit happening in this August 7 and 8. And in fact, one of the things that you just mentioned in your news program about having to digitize agriculture, we call it agri-tech. That is one topic that we will be talking about. And also we will be discussing open access. And this is actually part of our advocacy to push the Senate and the House of Representatives to swiftly pass that bill on open access to allow more Filipinos to have affordable and reliable internet access, especially in geographically isolated and disadvantaged areas. Because one of the things that we want to really promote and push is on digital infrastructure. Because there will be no digital economy if we still lack that digital infrastructure, especially in those far-flung areas. And at the end of the day, we know for a fact that Philippines remains to be one of the countries with with the most expensive data access. So I think the advocacy is for the industry to have that dialogue with our legislators, our policymakers, to make that concerted effort to really make this thrust on digital economy feasible within the next couple of years within the administration of President Marcos.
Lito Villanueva of the Fintech Alliance PH. Mr. Villanueva, thank you so much for joining us.